The Robert Mondavi Institute for Wine and Food Science at the University of California, Davis is home to the Department of Food Science and Technology and the Department of Viticulture and Enology. In the sensory building, there are labs and facilities dedicated to research in sensory and consumer science.
My name is Jean-Xavier Guinard, and I'm a professor of sensory science here in the Department of Food Science and Technology at UC Davis. And the kind of research that we conduct has to do with the sensory determinants of food intake, how sensory properties of foods and beverages affect our food choices, our food preferences, and ultimately our food intake.
Hi, I'm Pauline, and I'm a third-year PhD candidate in the Heyman Lab at UC Davis. What I really like about sensory is that it's the multidisciplinary field in which you get a combination of biology and physiology, chemistry, product development, and statistics. And actually, surprisingly, what got me attracted to the field was more the stats part, where I found an application of math in the context of food science. Plus, what's better than tasting food all day long?
The first step of descriptive analysis consists in recruiting 8 to 12 panelists who will come together to set a common list of descriptors to describe the samples. In the first session, they taste through the samples and generate terms to describe them. In subsequent sessions, reference standards are made to match those terms, and panelists discuss how well each reference standard matches their perception of the samples. They're also provided with water and crackers in order to rinse their mouths in between samples. When panelists enter the booths, they are served the samples through a hatch. They can log in onto the system and start their evaluation. They will evaluate each sample one after the other, and for each sample, they will rate the intensity of each attribute on intensity scales. The sensory booths provide a control environment in which panelists can evaluate the samples without external influences. The red light can be useful to mask color differences that could potentially interfere with flavor perception.
With consumers, we generally want to keep the testing environment as close to normal as possible, so they can remain in the consumer mindset. Here, you can see families participating in a citrus fruit study. This study will evaluate different varieties of citrus fruit and rate how much they like each variety overall, as well as how much they like the appearance, the flavor, and the texture. I chose sensory science because of its impact. The way that we perceive products, services, and messages directly influences our attitudes and our behaviors. As sensory and consumer scientists, we not only get to ask the questions of what people taste and smell and why, but also what they like, what they dislike, how those preferences develop, how those preferences shape our decisions and our practices, and also, based on that information, how we can build a better product or experience. To learn more about the program at the University of California, Davis, please visit us at foodscience.ucdavis.edu.